Howdy. You all know me as Justice, but in the real world, I'm known as Jonathan. I've been in therapy for over 4 years concurrently. If you ignore that 2-year gap due to insurance changes, I've been in therapy for around 6. My prognosis early in the process was mixed cluster B personality disorder. Mixed cluster B normally means that I'm a mixture of the cluster B personality disorder types, and they're usually seen as the emotional disorders of high degrees of unpredictability and impulsivity. So there's narcissistic personality disorder, there's histrionic personality disorder, there's antisocial personality disorder, and there's borderline personality disorder. Over time, as I've learned more about myself and how I express my emotions and my relationships, it's sort of become closer to borderline personality disorder, or BPD. One of the treatments for BPD is dialectical behavior therapy, and I've been in it for about 3 or 4 years. With my therapist, we often talk about my contradicting views and my opinions about myself and the world. BPD is often marked by that same contradiction. You kind of think of it as, I want you close to me, so you don't leave me, but not too close so you don't leave. I don't know where I want you, but don't leave, please. Something along those lines. Yeah. The reason I'm making this, I'm not 100% sure. I just want to make something so that someone out there can understand what this condition is for me and how my illness and pain is not their fault. I want them to understand, to give me patience and empathy so that we can work through this. I need a support group, something to hold on to while I defeat this, because you can defeat BPD. You absolutely can. But without friends, I don't have much strength to fight. So, if you're taking the time to watch this, thank you. And I'm sorry if I've ever hurt you. So, as a little bit of an introduction to how my BPD expresses itself, I have an extreme fear of abandonment. But at the same time, I am 100% convinced that I will be abandoned. This leads to me looking for any angle, any reason, any justification, anything, as to why someone is going to leave me. And either I'm going to accidentally express it, or try to treat this problem I see in my head in an illogical way. No matter what happens, I always push people away. This goes on to my next trait. I have a very unstable sense of self. I can only see myself as a villain in people's eyes, not someone to be loved or cherished, but I am everything wrong in the world, and the best thing for the world is if I didn't exist. I can only see things in terms of good or bad, black and white, there are no grays. I will never be a good person. This fear of abandonment and unstable sense of self are the inciting factors for the unstable interpersonal relationships where emotions are high and fights are common, as well as my drastic overreactions. Some of you may have already experienced some of this when I react badly to something that you've done and it gets crazy and there's a bunch of drama and, you know, you've experienced it. I'm always empty. There's nothing inside me. For other people, they can have a purpose in life, a goal, or friends, or anything like that, but if I try to fill myself as much as I can with friends, jobs I enjoy, or successes in my life, the joy always fades. It always goes away. And it doesn't go away in like a month. No, it goes away the next day or the next hour. I can't be proud of anything for very long. I can't feel like I've accomplished anything. It always goes away. So when someone's empty, when they have this hole in them that always drains everything out of them, they're going to chase for anything to fill the hole. And I chase. I always look for something, the next thing I can work on, next thing I can be part of, next thing I can do. I'm always looking for it. And it reinforces these rapid changes of mood as I'm happy, sad, angry, annoyed, all sorts of things all over the place. Within the same hour, even, these emotions will change. And people have a hard time following my thoughts and emotional states. I have these contradicting emotions and feelings, and I'm paranoid that you're gonna leave me at a moment's notice, anywhere, anytime, and I'll impulsively act in ways to try and protect myself by trying to reassure myself that you'll stay, by sometimes even love bombing, or by just asking, are you gonna stay, or things like that, trying to get you to promise something. But even more drastically, I might just lock myself away and push you away before you can leave me. I don't want to do these things, but it's what feels like I have to do. So, those are the traits that I express, but this one's going to be more related to my upbringing, but I've been convinced ever since I was young that everyone will lie to you. You can't trust a single thing anyone tells you because they're all liars. That's the one rule in the world that holds true. I learned this when, a long time ago, I witnessed a screaming match between my mom and my dad, where they were fighting. Their fighting's about something about him having an affair and being a bad person and always doing this. This isn't the first time that he'd done this. And they went to blows. He hit her. And there were tears everywhere. And the only thing that my mom did when she saw me was that she gripped my arm so tight like a vice and said, "Never be like him. Don't you ever dare be like him." So I've not trusted adults in my life. I've not trusted anyone. I've always held on to this belief that you're all gonna lie. They're all gonna be bad people. I don't even trust my mom. So I desperately want to be proven wrong about this, that there's someone in the world that's not gonna lie to me, not gonna fail me, that it's so pervasive, this belief that anything deemed a lie can cause a BPD episode, that it can just set me off as a trigger. So what else can? Sometimes the slightest breeze, maybe you insulted me, maybe you called me by the wrong pronoun, maybe you hurt me, maybe you went back on a promise you made, or maybe you hadn't talked to me for weeks. All these things sound like they begin with you. But it's not your fault. I may make clear arguments about what you did wrong. I may have clarity, it looks like, at the moment. But the episodes are always an overreaction reinforced by my own insecurities. They're my insecurities. The fears and doubts about myself quadruple under the idea that someone I trusted had lied to me. But that's not something you did wrong. Instead, it's something that my brain, not being able to comprehend that sometimes things happen and we can work through it, happens. I may do an action to you known as splitting, and put you on the bad side of the black and white view of the world. I may hurt you, I may hurt myself, I may run away. All these reactions I don't do out of spite, but are instead malignant coping strategies that I've learned over the years to protect myself, or to protect you from me. I know they're all bad, and that they cause more pain than they solve, but it's what I've learned. We've spent a lot of time talking about what's bad about me. what it sounds like is that I'm the most sensitive person in the world and that you have to walk on eggshells around me all the time just to not trigger me. In some respects, that's true. But even doing that can be a trigger when it feels like people can't be real around me. The truth is, I've made a lot of progress. I'm willing to talk things out and figure it out before it leads to an episode. And that there are many times that I have enough thick skin that slights and insults bounce right off. It's only when my emotions are high that I become this incredibly sensitive person. So, what you can do in the moment before an episode is listen to me. When I ask for a clarification or a reassurance about something, just listen and answer. Because I've learned that what everyone says that you should do is that you should go to your friends for help, you should get support, you should talk to somebody. And I do try to. I try very hard to, because I know that you're supposed to be able to say something that can offset this pain before it gets bad. I'm looking to you for help in an effort to control myself whenever I ask these things. And if you don't listen or you don't hear me, that's going to set me off for sure. What else can you do? One thing that's very helpful is consistency. I need to know that there's something out there that I can hold on to, a conversation, something pleasant, some calmness. As long as it's consistent and predictable, I can feel more grounded. You don't need to talk to me every day, but when I lose a consistent, predictable thing I can look forward to, I start to lose the ability to regulate myself and my emotions. When I'm stuck by myself, when there's nothing going on, when I don't have something to hold on to, my emotions start to go out of control. It feels like people are avoiding me. It feels like something's going wrong. It feels like something's happening. And why do I say that? Because it was true. It was true that people were avoiding me. That they stayed away from me. So, yes, the past things that I've experienced are not my future. But it's happened before. So, another thing. If you're going to be in my life, and you want to support me and be there for me, my emotional peaks are either very high or very low. And if you're only willing to be around me when I'm emotionally high, and not also be there with me when I'm emotionally low, just stop. If you're only there to celebrate with me and not there to support me when I need it, don't bother celebrating with me in the first place. You're encouraging my emotional instability if you're not accepting all of me. Don't be taken on a ride with me if you'll just get off when things get low, when things get boring, or things get hurtful. Keep your own healthy emotional distance. You can acknowledge my heights and lows just fine. That's fine. But the best place for me to stay is neutral. That's the best. Another thing. Clear boundaries are important. I should know what to expect and what I have. Any sweeping statements that you can make, always being there, caring for me, wanting to help, supporting me, that always leads to high expectations. And if you ever fail in anything that you say, because I will treat it as a promise, I will fall. Tell me what you're willing to do and what I can do, and I'll know better what to expect. You can't save me. Don't promise you'll save me. If it's clear what I can expect, then even if you say you need space or time, I will understand. But if you avoid me or don't respond to me, I can only assume that you lied to me. But, even with this, please don't make the onus only on me to get help from you. Don't just say, I'm here to support you, but only when I reach out. I struggle asking for help because this is my problem. And if you're only there when I reach out, it's like you're not even there at all. You're just giving me empty words of just expecting me to go to you when you've never shown that you've cared in any other way. Being positive and saying you're supportive is only saying you are, not actually being it. And don't judge me when I can hardly control my reactions, when my emotions get high, and those impulsive actions when I do lose control. After every episode, there is always an immense and an insurmountable amount of shame and toxic feelings about myself because I hate being this way. It puts me further into the cycle and I'm trying to break out from it. I'm the villain, remember? I deserve to hate myself. Don't make it worse by hurting me again. Okay. I want to reiterate from the beginning of this. Borderline personality disorder does have a good and well-studied history of improving over time and hard work. If you'll believe in my efforts to improve myself, and trust in the moments of my clarity and instability, we can have longer and longer periods without suffering and without more episodes. I've gotten better over these years, but I'm not out of the woods yet. I'm not saying you must accept me like this and do all these things, but if you stayed for this long, thank you. If you'll stay by my side, thank you. And if you leave after all this, thank you. And goodbye.